and welcome to the news on Sansad TV. I'm Isha Shah. Over the next 30 minutes, we'll take a look at the most significant developments of the day. Let's begin with the headlines. Himachal Pradesh Legislative Assembly elections announced. Voting on the 12th of November. Results to be declared on the 8th of December. Model Code of Conduct comes into effect in the state. No carbon dating for Shivling found in the Gyanvapi complex, says Varanasi court. Hindu side decides to take its petition to the Supreme Court. Wholesale inflation slows down for 4th month in a row. WPI inflation down to 10.7% in September. Amid turmoil in the financial markets in UK, Prime Minister Liz Truss sacks Finance Minister Kwasi Kwarteng, replaces him with Jeremy Hunt. And shooter Rudraksh Patil bags gold medal in men's 10-meter air rifle event at the ISSF World Championships in Cairo, secures place for Paris Olympics. And now, let us take a look at a flash news segment. Prime Minister Modi to chair CSIR Society meeting on Saturday to deliberate on goals for the institution for the next 25 years. India expresses deep disappointment that warring parties have not agreed to extension of truce in Yemen that ended on the 2nd of October. 38th meeting of Council of Regional Anti-Terrorist Structure of SCO held in New Delhi. Members decide on countering threats emanating from Afghanistan. Supreme Court refuses urgent hearing on firecrackers ban, says Diwali is near and people would have invested money in the firecracker business. Supreme Court to examine if pleas challenging electoral bond scheme should be referred to larger bench on the 6th of December. 5G technology completely indigenous, asserts Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, adds that India can provide technology to other countries. Submarine launched ballistic missile successfully tested from INS Arihant in the Bay of Bengal. 28-year-old Indian student stabbed 11 times in Sydney, Australia by unknown assailant. Family seeks emergency visa to reach him. Rescue of flood-hit people underway in Australian provinces of Victoria, New South Wales and Tasmania. ICC and UNICEF launch global partnership to empower women and girls and promote inclusion and gender equality through cricket. Our top story. The Election Commission on Friday announced the dates for the Himachal Pradesh Assembly elections. The hill state will have single-phase polls on the 12th of November. The EC's announcement brings into force the Model Code of Conduct in the state. Announcing the dates, Chief Election Commissioner Rajiv Kumar said, counting of votes will be on the 8th of December. Himachal Pradesh has 68 assembly seats. The term of the current assembly ends on the 8th of January.
The Gazette notification would be 17th October. The election would be in one phase. Last date for nomination would be 25th October, that is Tuesday. Date for scrutiny would be 27th. Last date for withdrawal would be 29th. And date of poll 12th November. And date of counting 8th December. And the entire process is completed by 10th of December.
Now Himachal Pradesh has over 55 lakh voters. More than 1,86,000 people are first-time voters. The state has 1,184 voters above the age of 100. The number of voters above the age of 80 years is 1,22,000. Elderly voters have the option of voting at home.
That 80 plus age voters, PWDs and COVID-infected voters, we would provide a Form 12D, and if they are willing, if they want to come to the polling station, every effort would be made to make it very, very comfortable there. And we encourage it. But in case somebody is ill and is not able to come, the commission would go to their house and get the vote conducted.
The Varanasi District Court dismissed a petition seeking permission for carbon dating of the reported shivling found from the Gyanvapi complex. The District Court cited the Supreme Court's directions to keep the shivling safe. The court dismissed the petition of the Hindu petitioners seeking scientific investigation and carbon dating.
सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने 20 मई के ऑर्डर में स्पष्ट रूप से कहा था कि ट्रायल कोर्ट पूरा ट्रायल और सारी एप्लीकेशन डिसाइड कर सकता है। इस मांग को लेके हम सुप्रीम कोर्ट भी गए थे। सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने उस समय भी कहा था कि आप इस मांग को लेके वापस ट्रायल कोर्ट जाइए और ट्रायल कोर्ट में कहिए। इसीलिए हमने ट्रायल कोर्ट में मांग रखी थी। अब ट्रायल कोर्ट कहता है कि हम इसको नहीं कर सकते क्योंकि सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने सील कर रखा है, तो इस मांग को हम लेकर दोबारा सुप्रीम कोर्ट जाएंगे।
Now, the Enforcement Directorate conducted searches at 25 places in Delhi as part of a money laundering investigation into the now scrapped Delhi excise policy. The premises belong to private establishments engaged in the trade and distribution of liquor. The ED arrested liquor businessman and managing director of liquor company Indo Spirit, Sameer Mahendru, last month. The money laundering case pertains to an FIR registered by the CBI in which Delhi Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia and others have been made accused. Moving on, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said India has set a global standard in digital commerce. The Union Finance Minister added that our economy is performing well because of the confidence that India's growth story is all set to scale new heights. The Finance Minister was addressing students at the Johns Hopkins School of Advanced International Studies in Washington. She said that digitization has helped in transforming trade and commerce, and bank account aggregators have changed the dynamics of digital banking and commerce. Digital payment interfaces like the UPI are now being accepted in several countries, the Finance Minister said, and even tax assessment as well as tax collection is being done online.
All over the country, a small, medium, actually a carpet of MSMEs, but who couldn't be strung together. So a public good in the name of ONDC was created. It's an open network for digital commerce. People can get onto it and trade, buy, sell, and therefore bring that advantage.
Now, inflation based on wholesale prices declined for the fourth straight month to 10.7% in September on softening prices of manufactured products, moderation in food articles, and fuel prices. Inflation based on WPI was 12.4% in the previous month. It was 11.8% in September last year. WPI had reached a record high of 15.9% in May this year. WPI inflation has shown a declining trend for the fourth consecutive month. For the 18th consecutive month in September 2022, it remained in double digits. Inflation in food articles declined to 11% in September from more than 12% in August. Wheat buffer stocks increased by 11% to 227 lakh tons in October. The Ministry of Food has informed that paddy stocks touched 284 lakh tons till the beginning of October, which is more than double the prescribed standards of buffer stocks. Due to a decline in procurement, the government banned wheat exports in an attempt to ensure domestic availability and control rising prices. Sowing for the new wheat crop is about to begin. Under the existing norms, the government needs to keep 205 million tons of wheat and more than 100 lakh tons of paddy in its buffer stocks by the 1st of October. A quick look now at some of India's diplomatic engagements. India and Britain are in discussions to finalize a free trade agreement. Responding to questions from media persons on when they will be concluded, Foreign Ministry spokesperson Arindam Bagchi said the dialogue involves business and is best left to the trade ministers of both the countries. He further said that the process has begun for enabling Indian students to return to China to complete their studies.
चाइना में जो वीज़ास का जो प्रक्रिया थी, कुछ वीज़ास में चेंज हुआ था, पर हमारा फोकस था कि ये स्टूडेंट जा पाएं चाइना, जो इतने दिनों के लिए उनको दिक्कत आ रही थी। इस बारे में हमें बताया गया था कि कुछ छात्रों को उन्होंने आइडेंटिफाई किया है और कुछ प्रोसेस था, वो कंप्लीट करने के बाद उनकी यूनिवर्सिटी के साथ कांटेक्ट में रहें और उनको वीज़ा के बारे में बताया जाएगा। लग रहा है कि कुछ स्टूडेंट्स अभी जाना शुरू हो गए हैं, कुछ स्टूडेंट्स, पर अभी काफ़ी और रुके हुए हैं, तो हम इस पे नजर बनाए रखेंगे और देखेंगे कैसे हम इसकी हेल्प कर सकते हैं, स्टूडेंट्स जा पाए.
And now, let's turn to Gujarat, where on the third day of his tour, Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar on Friday attended a program on excellence in higher education in Gandhinagar as the chief guest. The program was organized at Gujarat National Law University in Gandhinagar. He felicitated various startups and entrepreneurs in the fields of law and environment. The Vice President termed the new education policy a game changer in the field of education. The Governor and Chief Minister of Gujarat were also present on the occasion. The Vice President said, investing in education not only improves the present but also improves the future.
Massive effort had gone into it. All stakeholders were involved. And we had evolution after decades of a policy that meets our requirements. It will be a game changer. It has been adopted by most states. I am sure it is a matter of time when the entire country will adopt new education policy. It is not a partisan policy. It is not a government policy. It's a national education policy.
Now, Defence Minister Rajnath Singh launched the website Maa Bharti Ke Sapoot at a function at the National War Memorial Complex in New Delhi. Civilians will be able to donate to the Armed Forces Battle Casualties Welfare Fund through the website. The Defence Minister also provided ex gratia amount to the families and dependents of the Army personnel. He said that the Army has an important role in handling the legacy of independence. The Army gave a befitting reply to the cross-border terrorist activities.
या हमारे उद्योग व्यापार सभी के लिए सुरक्षा यह पहली जरूरत होती है और जब हम यह मानते हैं कि किसी भी समाज की सुरक्षा सर्वोपरि है तो स्पष्ट तौर पर यह कहा जा सकता है कि सुरक्षा सुनिश्चित करने वाले वीर सैनिकों और उनके परिवार के कल्याण के प्रति समाज के सभी वर्गों की अहम जिम्मेदारी है.
And talking about gender equality, India was one of the few countries to give women the right to vote in 1949. Rajya Sabha Deputy Chairman Harivansh said this at the 145th conference of the IPU in Rwanda. He was addressing the general debate on gender equality and sensitive parliament as an agent of change for a more resilient and peaceful world. Harivansh informed that gender equality was made a constitutional guarantee in India soon after independence. He said that India has also passed a law to reserve 33% seats for women in local bodies.
Indian Parliament has all along been quite sensitive for ensuring gender balance in leadership positions. Currently, we have 114 female members of Parliament and around 316 state legislative assemblies. Our Parliament has passed a law for reserving 33% of seats for women in the elected bodies at the grassroots level.
And now, a quick look at stories that are making news across the nation. President Draupadi Murmu on Friday virtually inaugurated various projects of the Assam government and the Union Ministries of Road, Transport and Highways, Petroleum and Natural Gas and Railways. She said, and I quote, "The development of Assam can be the engine of development for the entire northeastern region," unquote. Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar visited the Sabarmati Ashram in Ahmedabad on Friday. He paid floral tributes at the statue of Mahatma Gandhi. Punjab Chief Minister Bhagwant Mann and Haryana Chief Minister Manohar Lal Khattar could not reach an agreement in the meeting over the controversial Satluj-Yamuna Link Canal. The Supreme Court held on September 6th directed the Union Jal Shakti Ministry to convene the meeting between the two governments to resolve the canal dispute. BSF personnel on Friday shot down a drone that sneaked into Indian territory near a village in Amritsar in Punjab. The incident took place at around 4 a.m. when the personnel on duty heard the buzzing sound of the drone. BSF jawans of 73 Battalion fired 17 rounds and damaged one of the blades of the drone. Time for a short break in the bulletin. Lots more coming up on the other side. Do stay tuned.
India's External Affairs Minister, Dr. S. Jaishankar, has just completed a visit to Australia, where he attended the annual Foreign Ministers Framework Dialogue, the central mechanism for advancing the bilateral agenda.
Dr. Jaishankar's visit was incredibly important to continuing to build trust and confidence in the Australia-India relationship, but especially since the election.
In the case of India and Australia, there's both a commonality of interests, but also values, but also multiculturalism.
Welcome back. Time now for all the updates from the Russia-Ukraine war front. Fourteen European Union member states are investigating alleged war crimes committed in Ukraine. The European Commissioner for Justice advised that the collective will be working with the International Criminal Court and the European Court of Human Rights on moving these issues further. Russia is promising free accommodation to residents of the partially occupied Kherson region who want to evacuate to Russia. Russian Deputy Prime Minister made this announcement shortly after the Russia-backed leader of Kherson, one of 4 Ukrainian regions illegally annexed by Moscow last month, asked the Kremlin to organize an evacuation from 4 cities in the region. Russian President Vladimir Putin has reiterated his proposal to turn Turkey into a gas hub for Europe after deliveries to Germany through the Baltic Sea's Nord Stream pipeline were halted. Putin floated this idea of exporting more gas through the Turk's gas pipeline running beneath the Black Sea to Turkey as he met with Turkish President on the sidelines of a regional summit in Kazakhstan. Russian President Vladimir Putin will be crossing a very important line if he were to order the use of nuclear weapons in Ukraine, NATO Secretary General has warned. Both NATO and Russia are due to hold nuclear exercises in the coming days. NATO is holding its exercise, dubbed Steadfast Noon, next week. Russia has intensified its bombardment of civilian areas of Ukraine in recent weeks as its military lost ground in multiple occupied regions that Putin illegally claimed as Russian territory. A school was damaged in a small village on the border with occupied Kherson. The school's gymnasium and several classrooms were also destroyed. Satellite photos released on Wednesday showed damage to a power station and an office building in Kiev after Russian strikes on the Ukrainian capital. The Russia-appointed chief of the Kherson region released a video in which he called on Moscow to help with the evacuation of residents wishing to escape Ukrainian airstrikes. He said that the cities of Kherson, among others, were subject to daily missile strikes. And now news from some other parts of the globe. Britain's Finance Minister, Kwasi Kwarteng, has been sacked after less than 6 weeks into the job. The BBC reported on Friday that Kwarteng is no longer Chancellor of the Exchequer. Other media reports had suggested on Friday that Kwarteng was expected to be sacked as the government's massive tax cuts sparked financial market turmoil. Kwarteng becomes Britain's shortest-serving Chancellor since 1970. His successor, Jeremy Hunt, is the UK's 4th Finance Minister in as many months as the nation grapples with a cost of living crisis. Time now to take a look at our World Wrap segment. Former US President Donald Trump was subpoenaed by the House committee that is investigating the Capitol attack on the 6th of January 2021. The panel voted unanimously to compel the former president to appear for personal testimony. The subpoena comes ahead of the midterm elections in November that will determine which political party will control the House and the Senate. The World Bank president has warned that the global economy is dangerously close to a recession and called for targeted support for the poor. The World Bank has downgraded its 2023 growth forecast from 3% to 1.9% for global growth. Beijing authorities stepped up COVID curbs in the Chinese capital for the 20th Communist Party Congress on Sunday. The once every 5-year event brings together more than 2,000 party members at the vast Great Hall of the People on Tiananmen Square. Rare banners of political protest were removed by authorities from an overpass in Beijing. Homes were flooded in Melbourne and other Australian cities, with rivers forecast to remain dangerously high for days. Authorities said that 70 residents were told to leave a suburb in Melbourne's northwest, along with hundreds in the state of Victoria. The Victoria State Emergency Service said on Friday it had carried out 108 flood rescues in the past 48 hours. About 500 homes in Victoria were flooded. South Korea said that its military is giving a stiff warning to North Korea, urging a stop to ballistic missile launches and provocative tests. Local media reported that North Korea's recent launch went against military agreements and resolutions. North Korea early on Friday launched a short-range ballistic missile toward its eastern waters and flew warplanes near the border with South Korea. A robot addressed members of the UK Parliament's upper house, the House of Lords, earlier this week. Ada, as the android is known, is intended to provoke discussions about the future of artificial intelligence and robotics. Take a look.
The jobs at the metaverse, as an example.
Ida is claimed to be the world's first ultra-realistic AI robot artist. The android appeared before the Communications and Digital Committee of the Upper House of the UK Parliament on Tuesday. UK legislators grilled her on the relationship between artificial intelligence, robots and the arts.
I do not have subjective experiences, despite being able to talk about them. I am and depend on computer programs and algorithms. Although not alive, I can still create art.
Ida was created with AI algorithms created by experts at the University of Oxford.
The robot is providing evidence, but it is not a witness in its own right, and it does, and I don't want to offend the robot, but it does not occupy the same status as a human, and that you as its creator are ultimately responsible for the statements.
Ida can see with 2 cameras connected to a computer vision system, which is then interrogated by an AI algorithm.
The biggest thing that I've seen, which is absolutely takes me to my core, is actually not so much about how human-like Ada is, but how robotic we are. The algorithms that run our systems are extremely able to be analysed, understood and created.
Ida's team hopes she will provoke discussions about artificial intelligence and robotics. Ida is the first robot ever to appear before the UK's House of Lords. Bureau Report, Sansad TV.
And time now for all the latest from the world of sports. The Indian team would look to reassert its supremacy and aim to win an unprecedented 7th Asia Cup title when it clashes with Sri Lanka in the final in Sylhet in Bangladesh on Saturday. The BCCI could lose around Rs 955 crores if the central government sticks to its decision to levy 22% tax surcharge on ICC's broadcast revenue from the 2023 ODI World Cup. India is to host the next year's 50-over showpiece in October-November. India are squaring off against Morocco in their second game of the ongoing FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup. India are looking to brush aside the 0-8 loss to USA in their opening game. Arsenal maintained their perfect start to the Europa League as Bukayo Saka's goal clinched a 1-0 win at Bodo Glimt. Manchester United left it late to beat Omonia Nicosia. Scott McTominay spared United's blushes with a 93rd minute goal in a 1-0 win over Cyprus Omonia at Old Trafford. The ball that Maradona used to score his infamous Hand of God World Cup goal for Argentina against England in 1986 will go under the hammer next month and could fetch up to £3 million. And that's all we have in this bulletin. Stay tuned to Sansad TV for all the latest updates round the clock. Do share with us your feedback on our social media platforms. Thank you for watching. Good night.